Hi, my name is Lauren Johnson, and this is the stuff you probably didn't know but absolutely should know about our beloved meat industry. With growing awareness of climate change and its causes, I believe that people should be aware of the impact that the meat industry has on our planet. About 5 or 6 years ago, the reality of climate change spread across the news and the media in a matter of days. As a result, plastic free movements, beach cleanups, and mass tree plantings became way more common. Social media influencers started endorsing eco-friendly brands. 4Ocean and Pura Vida were trending on Instagram, making products out of recycled plastic. And people started watching documentaries like Game Changers, Cowspiracy, and Food Incorporated. To say the least, this topic was becoming far more talked about. With all that being said, though, what wasn't being talked about was the giant industry inducing deadly masses of air pollution and deforestation around the clock: the meat industry. Since the meat industry is such a massive economic powerhouse worldwide, but in our country especially, the harmful effects are rarely made public due to fear of profit loss. If this information is brought to light, something else big usually comes up to overshadow it for the same reason. So, I decided to look into this further and explore what knowledgeable people had to say on this topic. While researching, a term that comes up often is industrial meat. There's locally sourced, farm-raised meat that one can buy, and there's big box meat retailers that are what I'm referring to in this case. According to Natalie Brown from the Greenpeace Alliance in the UK, industrial meat is the single biggest cause of deforestation globally, and that the atmospheric pollution effects are roughly equivalent to all of the driving and flying of every car, truck, and plane in the world. Now, I know these are big claims to make, so I'll get to the numbers. According to a 2019 World Resource Institution report on how beef production causes greenhouse gas emissions, I found some shocking statistics. Their senior research associate, Richard Wayton, states that animals like cows, goats, and sheep emit methane, which is a potent greenhouse gas, as they digest grasses and plants. This process is called enteric fermentation. This wouldn't be an issue if animal agriculture didn't become so vast. However, deforestation occurs around the clock as farmers are desperately clearing trees to allow land for more animal pastures. These trees that are cut down release tons of CO2 into the atmosphere, further contributing to this cycle of pollution. A 2013 study by the UN Food and Agriculture Organization estimated that total annual emissions from animal agriculture were about 14.5% of all human emissions, of which beef contributed up to 41%. That means emissions from beef production alone are roughly on par with the harmful emissions of India itself. In addition, a Forbes article referenced a frightening Q&A done by Carbon Brief, which showed that the meat and dairy industries create around 7.1 gigatons of greenhouse gases annually, and that's 14.5 of total man-made emissions. Besides the deforestation and pollution from the animals itself, the amount of sheer energy it takes to turn a cow into a hamburger is what researchers are finding may be the bulk of the issue. To better explain this lengthy and unsustainable process, I'll include a short excerpt from a 2019 TED Radio Hour episode with various researchers and climate activists, including Greta Thunberg and Sean Davis.
9 calories fed to a chicken to get 1 calorie back out in the form of chicken meat. And chickens are the most efficient animal. So you're talking about 9 times as much land, 9 times as much water, 9 times as many pesticides and herbicides on the crops. And then you have to ship all of those crops to a feed mill. You have to operate the feed mill. You have to ship the feed to the factory farm. You have to operate the factory farm. You have to ship the animals to the slaughterhouse. You have to operate the slaughterhouse. Once you crunch all of those numbers and all of that inefficiency, what we find is that meat production, according to the United Nations, causes about 14.5% of all human-caused climate change globally.
This goes to show how such a big, successful industry can so easily hide such disastrous effects on our daily lives and our futures. With that being said, I'm not saying you should never go get some McDank's chicken nuggets, but we should all be more mindful of the toll our rapid meat consumption takes on the planet. I hope this provided some new perspective on what I believe is stuff you should know. Thanks for listening.